Hey, welcome back to Agents Confidential. I'm Eric,
And I'm Yana.
and today we have Brian Platte joining us from Agent Equity Group.
Woohoo!
So,
Very looking forward to talking with you and getting some insights of kind of what's going on in the insurance industry. So, first question, Brian, we like to jump right into it. From where you sit today, what do you think the current state of the insurance industry is?
I think it's a little fragile right now. I'd be lying if I didn't have some concerns. Right now we're feeling pressure both on the Medicare side as well as the ACA side. There's some funding issues, and obviously the lack of enhanced subsidies on the ACA side are making that market a little more difficult as well too. But yeah, I think that I'm optimistically hopeful. I think that we're probably in the trough right now, and I don't know how long that's going to last. Maybe definitely through this year, through 2026. But there's definitely some concerns with the Medicare side as well too, as most of us have heard uh, the funding, the proposed funding right now is 0.8008% right now, which is a little concerning. That's historically been between 4 and 6% increase on the funding on Medicare Advantage. And when you have the cost of medicine going up probably closer to 8 or 10%, that's a significantly lower number, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the carriers and the plans and what plans look like in the future. And so I think definitely I would hunker down a little bit right now. I don't think it's the end of the world. More of a natural reset in the industry that's probably been overdue for a while, I think.
What are some major changes happening right now that you think agents should be taking a look at and paying attention to?
Gosh, I don't know specifically. As far as some of the changes that have come out just here in the last week, there's been several. There's
Mhm.
talk of sanctions with Elevance, which is Anthem. So dealing with that potentially. We've all heard probably about what Humana is doing with the proration of first year commissions. So that's a concern. Yeah, I think if I was an agent right now, I'd be a little conservative with my revenue right now, and kind of hunker down for the rest of the year. I think that definitely want to push through with marketing, but maybe really pay attention to your other overhead expenses and maybe not commit to anything overly extravagant, as far as maybe new office space or hiring additional agents. You could be a contrarian too and maybe short this whole thing. But from my vantage point, I personally would probably hunker down a little bit and see what happens over the next 12 months.
Brian, we've seen whenever industries go through, a tough time, there's people that struggle and then there's people who thrive. Like, where do you think the big opportunities are for agents right now over the next few years?
Well, the T65 market isn't getting any smaller. I think we're getting to the end of the baby boomers. I think that ends in 1964. So,
Mm.
but then after that, we're going to have plenty of, there's going to be a slight dip, according to the graphs that I've seen, and then it's going to spike back up again. So we're going to
Okay.
see all of the baby boomers' children then turning 65. So, yeah, it's only going to get better. Right now, I would definitely be focusing on the T65 market. Historically, that's where you make the most money as well too. Um, you know, the concern right now is, are other carriers going to follow suit with what Humana is doing with the proration of first year commissions? But yeah, if I would definitely be leaning into the T65 market, which I think most agents are doing already, anyways. So I would probably just stay the course and hope for the best.
And with like these industry changes, I feel like there are still some fundamentals that still remain the same, like diversification and client trust and relationships and systems. What kind of fundamentals do you think are going to carry agents through this change?
Well, you just said it, diversification. I think everybody and their brother has been screaming this for the past couple of years, and
I know I have.
yeah, definitely. We're always screaming that at the top of the rooftop to our agents to look at expanding into other markets, whether that's ancillary, doing more dental, hospital indemnity is a must, getting back to basics, doing life insurance, final expense, or maybe even expanding your horizons, maybe getting more involved with the annuity market, the financial planning side of things, and maybe even looking at PNC. I mean, that industry went through a transformation over the last 3 years, and they're over that hurdle now for the most part. But I would definitely be diversifying and looking at new and interesting ways to bring in revenue. I think the group market is also a phenomenal market for individual agents to take a look at least the small group market. And naturally, I think if you're out there using strategic partnerships with HR directors, that should be a natural lead in to go in there and say, hey, we're already handling your employees that are transitioning into either retirement or in a probationary period with new coverage and doing a short-term plan. I think that conversation could easily lead into what are you doing for your group benefits and seeing if you could provide value in offering a better solution for that company.
That's
Definitely.
perfect because, I mean, especially when you go diversification within your own clientele, right? You don't have to find new people. You're offering more services to the people you're already working with. So really marketing budget zero, just be
Yeah.
reaching out to them and maybe asking some different questions. Um, Brian, if you could change one thing about the insurance industry tomorrow, just one, what would it be?
I
You
love this one.
know, I think it would be standardization. Really, I think that the industry is very fragmented in how we conduct business, how contracting is done, how a lot of things are done internally. I feel like the PNC side of the industry does a much better job at that. But I would love to see contracting. I would love to see more. Yeah, I would just like to see a lot more standardization rather, with commissions, especially with what we're going through now with Medicare. I think it's unfortunate that we're in a situation now where the CMS max allowable commissions are. It's always been kind of a given that carriers are going to be paying that maximum amount. And now we're seeing a lot of carriers kind of have to pull that lever and lower that amount, which creates churning in the business. Agents are going to do what they need to do to stay afloat, and of course, they want to do what's right by their client. But ultimately, they can't help their clients out if they don't feed themselves as well too. So,
Right.
I would love to see more standardization, probably at the CMS level on that, to where that maximum or whatever that level is has to be standardized throughout the industry and throughout the year too. I think that it's a shame what we've seen with carriers kind of pulling commissions and non-commissionable plans, right through AEP. That's super unfair, and would love to see some things change there where they can't pull that lever anymore.
Yeah.
I agree, Brian. Standardization would be very helpful. And I had a
I
different
know our
question.
commission team would definitely appreciate that. Getting commission statements from carriers and running comp and all that is a big headache.
All the behind the scenes things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Brian, there's a lot of noise out in our everyday lives and in the insurance industry. Are there a couple of like industry resources that you follow, whether it's websites, news areas, different podcasts? Like,
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I always immerse myself in this stuff. I'm a insurance geek. We all know that. Definitely, the Facebook group is great. We post a lot of industry news and insider stuff there, and there's plenty of other Facebook groups too. We're not the only game in town. I think that I get value out of pretty much all of them. I think there's a lot of great podcasts out there. So definitely would encourage you to go out and seek out some of the podcasts in the industry. Um, but one of the things I did just recently, and I'm totally going to botch this, but I think it's called Studio with Google, where you could set up alerts to where their AI goes out and
Oh
you pick
yeah.
the topic that you are looking to follow. And I did it for ACA and Medicare and life insurance. And I've got a bunch of different topics. And then it feeds that to me every single morning, those headlines. And, yeah, I feel like that's kind of given me an edge to stay up to date on things instead of having to manually go out there and find all of those news articles.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Brian, I have a question for you too. You've been in the industry for so long. What makes these changes right now? Like, what's going on? Like, what's different? What's happening that's different from other industry shifts?
I think it's a lot of things. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to funding, at least when it comes to Medicare Advantage. If the funding isn't there, carriers have to reduce benefits. And I think we could all agree that if you've been in the business for the last 5, 6 years, it's kind of the glory years. I started in this industry back in 2004. I think was the year that Medicare Advantage came out, and I've seen all the massive, well, I shouldn't say massive changes, but all of the big changes from marketing, what you can do, what you can't do. I mean, remember when I started, it was the wild, wild west. You could walk up to seniors at the Golden Corral and have a conversation with them, even go door to door. And obviously the industry needed to mature a little bit and put some safeguards in place for seniors so that they don't get taken advantage of. But this time it's a little different. I think that this is my personal opinion. I think that carriers kind of have, or we're just offering way too much benefits on the ancillary side. We kind of got away from what insurance was created for, and that was to insure large risks. And when we are, all these benefits that are out there, I'm not going to name the carrier, but there was like an AI robot or something that they were giving away as a benefit. It seems like we jumped the shark a little bit. Every carrier was trying to outdo the other carrier, and that was fine where the money was flowing. But when things start to dry up a little bit and the reins get pulled, we've got to change as an industry and kind of get back to basics. And I'm hopeful that that's where this leads to, is that we get back to basics. We get back to streamlining these plans and maybe putting, having the plans lower copays, MOOPs, deductibles, things like that, rather than go into some of these ancillary features that really nobody are using.
Yeah.
And as Brian, you're absolutely right. And as we've seen the carriers like kind of pulling back marketing dollars, less events, less opportunities, what types of resources would you recommend for agents to kind of tap into right now?
Well, definitely work with your FMO. If you don't have an FMO you're working with right now, we'd love to work with you and show you how we reinvest a lot of our revenue back directly into our agents. There's some great FMOs out there, and yeah, from a resource standpoint, I would probably be going to them first, possibly carriers as well too. But I think right now marketing dollars are all but a thing of the past, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm not seeing a lot of carriers dishing out any funds, and if they are, it's fairly nominal right now. A far cry from what it was 3, 4 years ago, when a carrier it wouldn't be uncommon to receive 10, 20, $30,000 for marketing initiatives. That's just not the case right now.
Do you think that Medicare is going to kind of turn into what the ACA market is right now, where if you want more of those, like you just the basics are covered and then pay for all the extra supplemental kind of things?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've talked with a lot of agents and gotten feedback on what they would like to see, and personally, I would love that if it was more of a la carte type of situation, or um, I always thought that maybe a flex card where you pick the items that you want in that flex card, whether it's you're more looking for dental or maybe vision or grocery card, whatever it is, maybe being able to pick from different categories on what's important to that beneficiary. But that's also a slippery slope too.
Yeah.
I could see that both ways.
It's definitely an interesting time.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
So a lot of good points, Brian. Before we wrap up, we have a closing question we ask every guest. If an agent's listening to this episode and took only one piece of advice from your experience in the industry, what would it be?
Boy, that's a great question, Eric. I can only speak to what has worked for me, and that's really just showing up. I didn't have the best sales skills. I didn't have money for marketing always, but I was always willing to wake up the next day, whether the previous week, month, year was horrible, and you just keep going and you add one client at a time, and you'll look back 5 years, 10 years back on your career and realize what you've accomplished. And sometimes you don't see that in the heat of the moment. It feels bleak. Sometimes the industry feels bleak, and you just got to put it all in perspective that it's a journey, and Rome wasn't built in a day.
Tim always likes to say a flat roller coaster would be no fun.
Oh,
That's great. I like
good
that.
one too.
I like that.
We're just riding the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey, we're on a dip.
Yeah. Here we
I
go.
feel like we're more on a corkscrew right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks
Yeah.
for taking the time, Brian. Again, listeners, if you're not, please subscribe, follow, reach out to Brian directly if you have any questions for him. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah. See
See
you
ya.
in the next